Hello, Sold. We are here with our first stay-at-home interview series with Praxis. How are you, brother?
Hey, how are you? How's everything, guys? All good, all good. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you for joining us today. What we're trying to do with this series is just show our audience that their favorite artists are still doing their thing, how they're handling sequestered life, how they're dealing with their own work and getting it out there. And we're happy to chat with you.
Thank you, thank you. Happy to be here.
So let's dive first into your work and with the topic of your work. Obviously, you are a tremendous animal rights advocate.
Okay, yeah. Since I got to New York pretty much, maybe like a few years before, I started focusing all my art on activism and more specific into animal rights. So it's pretty much all about animals and bringing these animals to the city, like all these animals we never see, bringing them to the city. So like everybody can have them like here right now and have them present like in all what happens to them. So it's all around animals and our relation with them.
It's very funny. The situation that we're in right now, COVID-19, is essentially due to mishandling of animals that are about to get chopped up in a wet market.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's been going on like for pretty much always. Like most of these viruses or pandemics come from like animal consumption and animal abuse. So it's I think like right now is something to think about and to keep in mind like for our like consumption habits.
Absolutely. Now, you're from Colombia.
Yes.
Now, what was your upbringing like with animals? Because every time I've traveled to Central America, South America, it's always different countries have very different levels of respect for animals. How was it where you grew up?
Okay, so Colombia is pretty much like any other country in the world regarding that. So it has like a huge meat consumption, a huge like animal consumption, and the animal rights movement has been always present, but it was pretty small before like a few years back, and and it's pretty cool because it's been growing. Like it's been growing here in New York, in the States, and in Europe. So despite the fact that like most of the people eat meat or like different animal products, there's like nowadays a lot of awareness about it. So lots of people are going vegan or are like maybe not going vegan, like, but like a lot of people are now thinking on, okay, like there are like a lot of things wrong in our like dietary habits and all the animal industry. So it's been pretty hard because before it wasn't there. Like people weren't like too close to vegetarianism or veganism or animal rights. So it was like when I was growing up, it was pretty much me and a few friends that were into it, but like everybody in the school or outside on the street, family and friends, they didn't even like know anything like about what was going on this industry. So it's been like a long process to get here where I am.
It's so funny. You said the word consumption several times. Excuse me. Uh, it's basically at its core. We want things that are going to taste good. It's so funny that these meatless products, the Beyond Burger, the Impossible Burger, and stuff like that, it's made to taste like meat. It doesn't matter if it's good for you anymore. It's like we've gone past the point of not wanting to consume animals to where we're now faking ourselves out by consuming not animals that taste like animals. It's just bad for us. It's psychotic in my opinion.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think it's like more of a marketing thing because it's easier for somebody to jump from meat consumption to plant-based products if they have something they can relate. So because most of the people are like, okay, why you don't go vegan? And regarding like dietary issues, most of it is about like taste. So people are like, I couldn't live, like I couldn't quit meat or cheese or pizza or whatever because like the taste is so incredible. So I think like a lot of these companies now, what I'm trying to do is like uh, kind of to trick people into, okay, like if I can replace this for something that tastes similar, I would do it. That's why they still call like a stuff like fake chicken and fake beef or fake fish, so people can relate easier because it's like it's not so, it wouldn't call your attention like much if you see in the supermarket like, oh, soy protein. It doesn't sound good, like it's not like, it doesn't sound like it's very tasty. So I think like all these kind of tricks, I call them tricks, makes it easier for people to go from a meat diet to like a plant-based diet if you can find something that tastes like how you want it to taste or how it does taste.
Now, obviously, it's an important topic, not only to you, but to our environment and society and everyone else. How are you, I don't want to say staying motivated right now, but how are you finding inspiration for the work that you're doing with maybe not so much of a focus on it? Because like I said, this in my head, this was an animal abuse issue at its core, us these animal flu pandemics. So how is it? But no one's talking about that. So how is it? How is it for you, someone who feels passionately about this? Finding the right angles to take, if I can say that the right.
So I think all my inspiration on or not just like inspiration but motivation comes precisely from that. Like if people are not paying attention to it, it means like there's like a huge opportunity to bring it like out. And that's part why I use stencils for it, because you can bring like all these issues that a lot of people are not paying attention to or don't want to pay attention to, and you can bring them out to the street so everybody can see them and everybody can like think about them in one way or another. It's the graffiti or stencil or any other kind of like activism or actions are not meant to tell somebody what to think, but like to have people thinking. It doesn't matter like if you agree or disagree, but the fact is that like all these issues are gonna be out there and you're gonna see them and you're gonna kind of think about it like, okay, what's this? Like there's something going on. So it's kind of like planting that little seed on people out, like, okay. And that's the motivation. The less people know, the less people talk about it, the more I want to go out and the more I want to express that and the more I want to take those messages out.
So you're saying it doesn't matter that you're not being inspired, you're the inspiration for your work.
Well, I don't know, I think so, it sounds like that. But also people like everything is about animals, pretty much, but also people give me that motivation because I know there's people who doesn't really care, but like it's nice because you see a lot of people that does care, and a lot of people that through stencils, through graffiti, through other kind of activism, get to think and to be aware of all of what's going on with these animals. So it's pretty much that my motivation from people, animals, and myself of wanting to go out and say something.
Now, your activism is street art based. It's vandalism based. It's not permission based. It's active activism. You're not standing on a corner with a sign. You're being very deliberate and intentional and getting your message exactly where you want it. Is it easier now or harder with people in lockdown to work?
So right now things. Like we're not going out much, but like I think this situation, this current situation, it's a good opportunity to work on new things or to keep working, pick up like old projects. Um, and it's a good time to start working on what's gonna go out after this, because it's pretty easy now to go out and paint. I think there's not like a lot of cops out, there's not like a lot of people, and nobody's really paying attention to that kind of things. But I'm trying not to. Like I think like the current situation in New York is pretty crazy with all these virus thing, and going out painting means like touching lots of surfaces, being on the street like a lot of time. So I'm trying to focus like on little stuff and a lot of the studio work. So when all this starts like to calm down, I can go out and keep doing what I'm doing, but go stronger.
Understood. Now, I always say on the podcast that every artist is a small business.
Oh yeah, it
How,
is. I think so too.
yep. How is your business doing? Are you still selling? Are you still attracting new eyeballs and visitors and buyers? And if so, how are you doing it?
Okay, so I think like for me it's a little bit different than with other artists, because so I do sell stuff, I do some art shows, I work in commissions for graphic design. Pretty much everything I do is for animal rights organizations or vegan businesses. But since it's something like pretty specific, it's not easy. Like there's not like a huge market for it. So right now, work is pretty slow. And I also, before like this situation, so I've always been doing my freelance work, my design work, but also I've had to do different like hassles to keep coming like income to my like monthly, because there's not like always work. And during this time I'm just working in a few little freelances and other work, but it's pretty slow. Like we're just staying home, working in personal projects, and trying to move stuff. But it's, I'm not selling much. I'm doing like paintings here and there, selling here and there, but it's really slow right now.
Well, we've heard from a couple of different artists that this is a really great time to work on collaboration projects. So just a little tip, if there's someone that you wanted to work with or said that you were going to work with, now is probably the time to get their attention.
Oh yeah, I have a few ideas in mind, and I have a few projects I was working on. Like, so this is one of the stuff I'm working right now. I want to show you
Yeah,
here.
please.
It's like a little fanzine I'm working. It's all, so right now the this project is all about extinction. It's like extinction theme fanzine, and it comes with, check it out. So it's all illustrated by me, and it talks about like 15 different animals. So I don't know if you can see it there
Yeah,
like this.
that's great.
So I have here, it's called Extinction Crisis, and this is like the first copies I had. I still have to work like on a few, you know, on a few details and a few different animals, but this is pretty much what I want to do after we finish this. So it's launching this fanzine.
Educational.
Yes, it is, but like it's educational, but it's like a little bit raw. It's a little bit like strong as well. I have like a lot of like dark issues, so it's like something educational. But I don't know. Like I don't want to say it's like cool to read, but like it's nice to take a look at it, because it has like, it's mostly illustrated, but you have like different small like short text with different facts about like the animals' threats, about why they're important, how they balance like our ecosystem, stuff like that. So like it has like some punk rock elements, fanzine elements, like some, check out, you can see like they're like a kid with a shotgun facing two wolves. So it's like a little bit of everything, but yeah, the idea is it to be educational. So you have like here foxes hunting, um, fur coats, and it comes like different. So we have like animals from Asia, Africa, Europe, and different topics. So here you have like elephants, trophy hunting, Trump, and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, working on this series. So I can, and this is gonna be related to another street art project I'm working that you'll see after this finish. That's pretty cool.
That's great.
And
I
I
love.
would love to send you a copy of this one for
Yeah,
sure.
put us down for an autographed copy, and thank you very much. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That,
yeah, I would love to send you.
okay, so let's take it. So there's the latest incarnation of your work. But where did it start? Do you have a background in graph? Did you grow up spraying on walls? How did it even get to stencils? I mean,
Okay, so before I started painting, like more towards the street art about 10 years ago, but like 15 years ago I wasn't into street art or graffiti, but I was doing like a lot of political stencils. So and I wasn't into graphics as well. I was part like of different social movements, like youth movements, and I found the stencil like a stencil. It's been always a big part, a huge part in social movements in Latin America, because it's been like the way like social movements and working class can go out, take a message, repeat it, and like fight and protest against like a system that has like all the media, like the big media. So it's like it's always been like the free media for working class and social movements. So I started doing like all these political related, and like after a few years, I did went to school for graphic design, but I think like most of what I do doesn't really relate to what I went to school for. Um, all my street work I learned it like going out in the street. Grew up with like in the punk scene with like different people doing graphics, doing graffiti, doing street art, doing stencils, doing street posters. So I kind of picked up like different stuff from people I started meeting in the streets. So my start was like pretty much 10 years ago with like 5 years before of political stencil, like nothing street art related, and stencil it's pretty big in Colombia. So that was pretty much my start, just like hanging out with like different people that was doing stencil there, graffiti, and learning like on my way.
great. Now you mentioned punk music twice. Now,
Yes.
who are some of your favorites? We like to talk about music.
You like to talk? I know I have many. I like. So I grew up like with punks, with skinhead, root boys, hardcore people. So I have like a wide range of music I love. From New York, from Europe, from Colombia. I couldn't say like a specific band. Like I have like many bands I like. There's like a lot of hardcore music related to animal rights, to animal liberation, veganism, which is awesome. A
That's
lot of
great.
punks band from the 70s that were talking about it too. So because if you see this is an issue that's yeah that like it's come from a social movement like an animal rights movement, but also from like all this counterculture. So it's been around from like the 70s 60s, and it's been present in the music always. So I don't know, like what bands do you like? I probably like a lot of bands that you like too.
Well, on the heavier side, I love. I mean, Tool, Primus. Uh,
Nice, nice.
I like a small band that makes a lot of noise. I'm a big Black Keys fan. I like Royal Blood, that two-man bass-led band out of the UK. You ever hear those?
Nice. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And actually that's my like that's what one of the things that I love most of New York, and it's like you can just like go to shows every day, like any kind of shows, like local bands, big bands,
Every
huge
night.
bands,
Every night.
and and it's amazing. That was one of the things that I loved most when I got here, because I was like, this is crazy. Like, I can see all my favorite bands like every day, every weekend, like anytime I want. There's like a lot of bands going to Colombia, but it's not like here, you know, like it costs a lot to go there. Shows are more expensive here. Like, I've just seen bands that I dreamed to see when I was a kid, you know. So music, it's been like a huge part of what I do regarding stencil and street art. I try to inspire my themes like from songs from different bands, and try to grab things from here and there to create something. So yeah, music, it's been always a huge part, and punk rock, because it's all related, you know, like vandalism, punk rock, hip hop, all these countercultures that come from the streets, and a lot of what they talk reflecting what we do and what we live. So it's nice to mix like all those things.
How many album covers have you done?
No, I haven't done any. I've done
Oh,
like no, I would love to. That's like my dream job, and I have like a lot of friends with big bands and that play like in really good bands. I've done like a few EPs, but no, not much. But I would love to get into all the music industry. That's fucking amazing. All this underground like kind of music.
well, I
That'd be
think now's the time, just like on the collabs, reach out to some bands they're probably not able to record, but they might have some stuff ready to go. You know,
yeah, that's nice.
people.
I have a few illustrations. I try to do stuff like band related. So if you check out my Instagram, you'll see like some illustrations with H2O present, Earth Crisis present, like different hardcore vegan bands or punk vegan bands. So it's nice. Like it's nice to and it's nice to see how bands react positively to your graphics. So yeah, I'm trying. I've been trying to sneak in like little by little into that for sure.
That's great. Just last night, Eric and I watched a documentary on Netflix about Mr. Cartoon.
Oh, I watched it last night.
Oh, you watched it too?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I had no idea he had so many album covers, so many iconic
That's awesome, right?
records.
Yeah, no, neither did I. It's awesome. It's a pretty cool show, man. And it's crazy, like how that works. You know, like you do one thing for one person, and then like it becomes huge. Like he was doing stuff for everybody, and all his style. It's so like strong his graphics that you can just tell like, oh, okay, here you have like this, and all is related, like from all these amazing bands.
Now, I won't say that your stuff is similar because obviously it isn't. And he's got some very heavy graph influence in his work and his design and stuff like that. But I think your work is as readable. I think when you see a piece of work, it can't be too busy. And as busy as his stuff is, he's still readable. And that's what scrolling down your feed in prep the last couple of days. Your stuff requires no explanation, and that's why I appreciate it.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, I think it's pretty important that because if you make it too hard to read, and since it is on the streets, you need something that people can just like see and read and say, oh, okay, this is that, because people are not gonna stop, you know, like street art fans or people that likes it are may take the time to check it out to see what it's about, but regular people, the people you want to get the message, are not gonna stop. They need to see something and just get it right away. So it's always a struggle trying to make something not as easy, but not as difficult. Just like the right point where you can have something aesthetic out on the streets, like something nice that looks nice, but something that reads easy and that sounds like a strong message. That's why my texts are just so simple, because like if I want to say like foie gras is cruel, uh,
Agreed.
it's just that, you know, it's cruel. That's it. Like, and that's gonna open the door. Like, if you wanna know more about it, you're gonna say, okay, what's this foie gras thing, and you might look it up. But if it's too hard, you're not just gonna even understand what the fuck foie gras is.
That's right.
Because it's something people doesn't have like all the time present, so you need like the message to be direct always.
Think about how many advertisements you ignore, you see, but don't process on a daily basis. And that's essentially the same way it is for a commuter walking down the street, seeing hundreds of stencils and stickers and
Oh, wow.
eggs and throwies and stuff.
That's crazy. I grew up in, so Bogota is pretty much like, it's pretty similar to New York, like big as city, crazy, very disorganized, like lots of graffiti. And and it's crazy because you go out and just like in your commute from your home to work, you see millions of things, like thousands of tags, stencils, pieces, advertisement. So the hard part of it is like, okay, how am I gonna create something that's gonna pop around like all this shit that people are seeing? It's the same in New York, you know, like you go out and in your commute, you're gonna see thousands of stickers, thousands of messages, of advertisements. So you need to catch like something that it's gonna, you need to do something that it's eye-catching
Yep.
for people. Otherwise it's just gonna be one more tag, one more stencil. And that's part of what I try to be a little bit different than like the regular street art, and not make it so much about the graphics but the message.
Right.
Try to get people to see it within like all this craziness that we have in our city.
Now, let's talk about some of the, the fun spots around the city that you've gotten up and done your thing. How was your experience working with Steve Stoppert?
Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing, man. Uh, he is one of the best people I've met here in New York. And I met him, I don't know how long ago, like 3 years ago or so. I don't even know how I did meet him. But he's always been a pretty kind person to us. It's cool because he gave me that spot that I painted on Second Avenue, the bottom one
Mm-hmm.
that nobody wanted to paint. And he was like one day, hey, nobody ever wants to paint here. Like, don't you want to do something? And I was like, fuck yeah. It's an amazing spot. It's pretty hard to tag over. It's like nobody mess with that spot. Like, it's just so annoying to go like through the bars that like nobody's gonna tag it or anything. And you see it right away after you come out from the train station. That was cool from him. Also, he's been like, we've been doing a few anti-poor campaigns for like the past 3 winters, and he's been very, very supportive with that. Um, he's gone with us like out 4 a.m. in the morning. You know, he's a morning guy anyway, but like we've been with him like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., going out, putting posters up and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And even though he's not vegan or anything, it's amazing that he supports like all these anti-poor campaigns, all this stuff that usually people didn't even think about. So it's been like a pretty cool thing to know him. I haven't seen him in a while though, but it's awesome. It's a pretty cool person.
It takes him a lot not to support an artist.
Oh man, he's amazing. I think he's a great piece for the street art community here in New York City.
Agreed. We're definitely better knowing him. And hello, Steve. I hope you're doing well. I checked in with you the other day over WhatsApp, but hope you're doing.
Yeah, and you know what I think it's pretty cool about him is that like he has this pretty cool wall in Second Avenue in his building, but he's just about the artist. You know, he's not looking for famous artists to paint. He's not looking to make a name for himself. He just likes to share that space with different artists. And I think it's pretty cool that it's not always like famous artists. You know, like there's like a lot of good artists, but like regular artists, you know, like it's not about like, okay, I'm gonna get this super spot in New York. It's just like about going there, have fun, share with him. He's always very supportive. He always helps you out painting. If you need like a little bit of this kind of paint, he'll find it for you. He'll share his materials with you. So it's amazing to have people in this community like that that really care about the art and not like how the name or the spot or all this stuff.
I agree. Now, we're going to wrap up shortly, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit, since you have a little bit of a platform here with our listeners. What about some, maybe not all the way vegan, but some alternatives or some good ideas while you're shopping at home or things to do? You have any food tips for us?
Oh yeah, sure, I think so. There's a lot of products. It depends where you are at. Nowadays, pretty much in any neighborhood supermarket, you'll find affordable vegan options. But like if you're not like into buying fake meat or into like fake cheeses or all that stuff, there's plenty of things you can do with plants, with veggies at your place. You can do like a lot of different kind of burgers with different kind of grains. I don't know, and there's like many things to. I would like, you know what would be cool? Working a graphic like for this time for people to cook something cool like out of graphics, not like a boring recipe, but like make me create something like this fancy and I was showing you, and have different options for people to prepare at their place. Nobody has like a lot to do right now, so you can take the time and create something out of plants that's gonna be very tasty and it's not gonna involve the suffering of any animal. So I might work on that. That's pretty cool. I
Yeah,
would love to share it with you.
that's awesome. Now, what I just was just gonna, oh, who we're going to ask as part of this stay-at-home series, who are you staying at home with? Do you live by yourself?
I live with my wife, so we're just like the two of us here, and with three cats.
Oh, okay. So feeding five mouths to feed. All right. How is she dealing with putting up with you being home every day?
No, we get along pretty well. So, and she helps me a lot with all my stuff. So, even though like I work in most of the graphics, it's pretty much a teamwork. There's nothing I don't ask my partner about. Like, do you like this graphic? What do you think? And she has like this outside opinion. Like she can see like things that I can't see. So we connect on that. So it's like pretty much just working together, having fun, being with the cats. It's not been crazy.
That's good. We just saw that De Blasio canceled school for the rest of the year today.
Oh man, that's crazy. I don't know what's going on. What's gonna happen with all this situation?
Man, every day I listen to the governor's news conference, and he gives me a little bit of confidence. He gives me a little bit of hope. Things looks like they're slowing down, but when De Blasio comes out and says, "No, we're not going to be gathering like this for another 3 months," that's interesting to me because that's a lot.
Oh,
That's a lot of kids that get their meals from schools every day. That's a lot of disrupted routines for parents that they were barely dealing with it now. What if your three cats had to go to school every day and now they're home? It's a it's a different.
It's crazy for everybody, I think, and mostly for working people. And the craziest is that you never know because you watch the news every day and they come up with something new every day about this virus or about the lockdown or about the timing. So you don't really know like what's gonna happen, and it's pretty hard to make plans from it because you just don't know.
Right.
And people are just like millions of people are jobless right now, and it's cool, like I think you can go through the first couple months, but then like what are you gonna do? Even for artists, for independent freelancers, jobs like are slowing down a lot. But I also think it's a good chance to come up with something and hassle your way to this pandemic
Well,
and being creative.
Well, you have the fortunate, you're fortunate that your work is not, dependent on a company. That you are the powerhouse behind your creative endeavors. So, should that never change, you should be able to, keep your foot on the gas and keep creating. Can't promise that they're all going to sell soon, but at least that you don't have to go out for, supplies or materials or things like that. That the ideas can keep coming.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I also think for all of us that are like in all this into all this street art, graffiti, and art thing, of course, like we have to make a living out of it, but it's also something we need, like most of us, like regardless the money, it's something we have to, it's something we need to keep doing to stay sane.
Of course.
Uh, During our daily lives, even if you have work to do, creating things, new things is part of it. Like I would go insane if I'm not like doing something, if I'm not helping, if I'm not like creating messages
Mhm.
or changing things. um so yeah, I think it's great to have this motivation because it keeps you busy. Otherwise you'll be just around your apartment,
Yep.
uh, trying to figure out something.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciated, you carving out a slot for us. This was a great chat. I hope we inspire some artists, inspire some vegans, and inspire some activism. Because
Thank you so much.
yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing your work. And stay in touch with us. Let us know how you're doing. And I can't wait to see the cookbook.
Oh yeah, sure. And also send me your shipping address, and I'll send you a copy of this guy.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Before we let you go, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online and social media?
Okay, so you can find me online on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is Praxis Vegans, and Instagram is Praxis. Um, oh, I forgot how it's called. Um,
Underscore.
yeah, Praxis underscore BGC.
All right, Praxis. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me here. Have a good day.
See you soon.
Bye bye.